Thanks, Carol. So, can Jesus Garcia actually make it a contest against Mayor Emanuel? Paris Schutz first reported on our website Friday that Garcia was considering entering the race. He's here now with a reaction now that the news is official. Paris, what do you hear?
Well, Phil, the mayor seemed this afternoon unfazed at the prospects of having another challenger, this one a well-known figure in Latino and progressive circles.
My priority between the time I announce is to make sure that we're doing things like what we're talking about today, recycling, make sure we're making investments in the future of the city of Chicago, whether that's with an increasing in the minimum wage or like the Chicago Star Scholarship, that if you have a 3.0 at CPS, we're going to ensure that community college is free, and expanding our early childhood education. People will make their own cases if they decide to run or not. I think the most important thing is to have a city that's on the move, facing its challenges head-on.
I don't think it was an accident there that the mayor mentioned his accomplishments or his belief in raising the minimum wage. The minimum wage is a core issue among progressives. He's supported raising it to $13 over the next few years, and a coalition of labor and progressive groups want it to be $15 an hour. So the mayor can clearly see that the challenge will come from the left, and he's going to be touting his progressive bona fides in the months to come. Now, the campaign side officially offered no statement, although the campaign of his other chief challenger, 2nd Ward Alderman Bob Fioretti, said this today, quote, "I welcome Jesus Chuy Garcia to the race for mayor and look forward to a spirited debate about the issues."
Paris, we just heard Carol and Jesus Garcia talking, referring to the fact that Don Rose is advising his campaign. What are other political insiders saying about Jesus Garcia's chances?
Well, I spoke with a longtime Democratic elected official who goes back to the Harold Washington days, says he knows Garcia very well and that he is a bona fide progressive, and that the name recognition might be a problem unless he can tap in to that progressive and Hispanic and African American sort of distrust of the mayor. Then that name recognition will grow very quickly. And there were a lot of progressive groups, Phil, the teachers union especially, that had been urging Garcia to get in this race over the last few weeks. Progressives have been especially disillusioned about school closings, about the aforementioned minimum wage, and about reforms to public employee pensions that reduce their cost of living raises. Now, a coalition of labor and grassroots groups called the United Working Families today reacted very loudly, saying, quote, "United Working Families is thrilled about the announcement that Jesus Chuy Garcia will circulate petitions in order to run for mayor and challenge Rahm Emanuel and his corporate elite friends that control this city. Chuy is a true progressive who has a proven record of working with labor and community organizations to champion the policies we care most about: workers' rights, access to quality education for all children, and racial justice." Now, Garcia, as you just mentioned, likely to hold similar positions to Bob Fioretti, similar progressive tack that they're staking out. This is good and bad for Fioretti. It's good because it gives a greater chance of forcing one than there is a runoff election in April. The concern for the Fioretti camp is that the labor money, the money from public employee unions and other organized labor groups, will now go to Garcia instead of Fioretti.
And what is the role or the impact or any question mark about Toni Preckwinkle, or has that issue been put to bed?
Well, Preckwinkle said she's not running adamantly, and she said she didn't want to get involved. But of the $18,000 that the Garcia campaign currently has on hand, Toni Preckwinkle is responsible for donating $12,000 of that, or at least her campaign was. And that donation was made on October 9th, very close to the time, coincidentally, that Karen Lewis was sick and then had announced that she wasn't going to run for mayor. And Preckwinkle does say she has no dog in this fight. She doesn't want to get involved. She has issues with the county she has to deal with. But there are insiders I spoke to that don't believe that's going to be the case. Garcia is her floor leader in the Cook County board, and they believe that she will back him.
Paris, thanks very much.
You're welcome.